Question number 1. In line 6, last refers to what? So let's look over the lines leading up to this. And now that the clouds settled on Saint Antoine, which a momentary gleam had driven from his sacred countenance, the darkness of it was heavy. Cold, dirt, sickness, ignorance, and want were the lords in waiting on the saintly presence, nobles of great power, all of them, but most especially the last. We can see that personification is used to describe cold, dirt, sickness, ignorance, and want as lords in waiting on the saintly presence of the city of Saint Antoine. Last is referring to the last of these lords, which is want. So the answer is B, want. Question number 2. The first sentence makes use of which of the following literary techniques? If you answered the first question correctly, you already know this answer. Saint Antoine is a city, and the author talks about his sacred countenance, which means his face. So Dickens is giving the city a face, and then we have cold, dirt, sickness, ignorance, and want spoken of as lords in waiting and nobles of great power. All of this is personification, giving the attributes of a person to something that isn't a person, so the correct answer is A, personification. Question number 3. The description of the mill in lines 7 through 17 functions as a sustained metaphor that effectively does what? So let's look at the lines in question. Samples of a people that had undergone a terrible grinding and regrinding in the mill, and certainly not in the fabulous mill which ground old people young, shivered at every corner, passed in and out at every doorway, looked from every window, fluttered in every vestige of a garment that the wind shook. The mill which had worked them down was the mill that grinds young people old. The children had ancient faces and grave voices, and upon them, and upon the grown faces, and plowed into every furrow of age, and coming up afresh, was the sigh, hunger. So we have a mill that grinds people old, unlike the famous mythological mill that grinds people young. The metaphorical mill that the author speaks of here has given children ancient faces and grave voices, and the sigh, hunger, is plowed into every wrinkle or furrow of age. So of our choices, we can eliminate A and E immediately. Ambition for growth and progress and the innovative spirit are both positive ideas, and the images in these lines are not positive. B conveys the tedious precision of life in the mill. No, this isn't about workers in a literal mill. This is a mill that grinds young people into old people, so it's not a real mill. So eliminate B. C suggests the political unrest of the people working in the mill. Again, this isn't a literal mill in which people are working, so no, C won't work. And that leaves us with D, portrays the abject condition of the people working in Saint Antoine. This works because abject means miserable or wretched, and these starving people are certainly in an abject condition. D is the correct answer. Question number 4. All of the following verbs have the same subject except, and the verbs are past, fluttered, looked, ground, shivered. So let's read over these lines. Samples of a people that had undergone a terrible grinding and regrinding in the mill, and certainly not in the fabulous mill which ground old people young, shivered at every corner, passed in and out at every doorway, looked from every window, fluttered in every vestige of a garment that the wind shook. This is an except question, so we're looking for which one of these verbs doesn't share the same subject as the others. So we have samples of a people that had undergone a terrible grinding and regrinding in the mill, are what shivered at every corner, passed in and out, looked from every window, and fluttered in every vestige. All of these have the same subject, the samples of a people. Ground here is functioning as part of an adjective phrase that's describing the fabulous mill which ground old people young. So D, ground, is the correct answer. Question number 5. Lines 7 through 17 are primarily characterized by what? So we're looking back at the same lines again, and let's take a look at our choices. A, independent clauses that contain contrasting images. We don't have contrasting images here, so this is incorrect. B, uniform descriptions that lend an air of monotony to the passage. The descriptions are not uniform or all the same, so no, this is not a good answer. C, disparate images that disorient the reader. Disparate means very different in kind, so this answer is sort of the opposite of B. The images are not very different in kind, and they don't serve to disorient the reader, so no, this answer is incorrect. D, phrases that echo one another in a series of rhymes. No, these phrases don't rhyme. You can eliminate D. E, repetitive syntax that provides an accumulation of detail. This is more like it. Syntax refers to grammatical structure, and we have repeated structure in the phrases passed in and out at every doorway, looked from every window, fluttered in every vestige. And then in the passage, it talks about ancient faces and grave voices, which is repeating an adjective-noun combination. And all of these are continuing to add details to this picture of the people and environment of Saint Antoine. So the best answer that we have here is E, repetitive syntax that provides an accumulation of detail.